Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Stop everything. The angel has arrived. The wings are here. She is here. She is somebody who is an energy healer. She's an intuitive tarot or tarot, depending on how you pronounce that, an oracle card reader. She's also a spiritual life coach. I'm not really sure how to refer to her because she goes by the divine angel, but she's also known as Carrie Beaird, and she's with us today. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you today?
Doing very well. How should I refer to you? Are you the divine angel? Do we go with that from this point forward?
I usually go by Carrie, but people also call me Divine Angel Oracle.
Gotcha. Okay, you know what? I did write Oracle down, but I forgot that that was part of Divine Angel. So
That's okay.
I've got
It's a long term. It's a long name.
Yeah, I love it. Carrie, I love your energy. We haven't even started yet, but you just come, you literally come flying through with positivity and
My angel wings.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. And it looks like you really love doing what you do. Out of everything that you do, be it life coach, energy healer, reader, what is one of your favorite things to do?
My favorite thing to do is just to be with people and to get to know them personally. And I love to do my readings the most because they give a lot of messages to people that a lot of times they don't know that they need to hear it. They come in with a certain expectation that I want to know about my relationship. But then God comes through and is like, no, that's not what you need to hear today. You need to hear something else that you're not really willing to hear, but this is what you really need to hear today.
And I bet relationships is probably that and money, the number one questions that you get when you do a reading.
Right. And a lot of times people come through and they're like, I don't know what I need to hear. Let's just do a general. And I'm like, okay. And then they'll get something and it's really touching a deep subject. And they're like, ooh, I didn't really want to hear that today.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me about my relationships? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, let's see. I've got some cards here.
Uh-oh. You could save that for later, but that's completely up to you. When it comes to, and I do want to say this, the same principle I believe applies for psychics or psychic mediums. Big believer in those who are legit. And a lot of us want to talk to, Uncle Vinny or, Aunt Jody or whatever it might be, but they may not necessarily come through because it's not meant to be. But whoever's going to come through is coming through for a reason. They have a message for you that you need to get.
Very true. I was talking to KC of one podcast. His grandmother came through for us during the podcast.
Oh, wow.
It was really cool.
Interesting. I'm going to say this right now. I'm fully transparent. There's no secrets whatsoever. I will tell you anything. If anything comes through, just fire it away. I'd love to,
Okay, I'm the same way. If something comes through for me, I'll say it. I'm honest 100%.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not about me, but it's also about an example. If something were to come through, I'll confirm or deny as it needs to be.
Right.
Whatever we find there. As a spiritual life coach, now we've heard of life coaches before. How do you define a spiritual life coach?
Well, that's one thing I've decided I'm not going to do anymore is be a life coach per se. I actually consider my readings as life coaching because when I'm doing a reading, things come through that I need to educate the person on.
I love that. And my view of it is if you're going to help somebody with their life in terms of even as a coach, it's almost like you're on the runway, plane's ready to take off, as opposed to another traditional life coach who, may be in the hangar at the airport because you have that insight because of the readings that you do.
Right. And also my background is I'm a nurse practitioner, a family nurse practitioner. And I've worked in a prison setting. I've worked in family practice. I've worked with kids. I have a lot of knowledge in my background with Western medicine, and I switched to more Eastern holistic medicine. And I feel like I have a lot of knowledge. Plus, I have a history of depression in my life. And I've been in the client setting, and I've also been as a professional. I have a lot of knowledge to give to a person whenever I'm on this side, sitting here as a reader, to be able to help that person.
I love that. And I will share with you of all the psychics that I know, the really, really, really good ones, they all have a medical background. And I just thought of that as you mentioned it. One very, very big psychic was a phlebotomist back in the day.
Mhm.
Another was a nurse, and they're legit. I've seen it, and I'm a skeptic. I'll watch it.
Mhm.
I'll try to punch holes in it, even though they're friends. I can't because it's you can't deny it when information comes through for you or somebody else, and there's no way that they could have known that. You can't find it on Facebook. Nobody could have told them that. So that's my
Mhm.
I guess validation that the stuff is real.
And what's really cool, a lot of people think that psychics sit there and they know everything about you and that they can sit there and watch you use the bathroom or something. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, not at all. No.
It's just little things come through here and there, little pieces of information.
So when that information, because I believe you're intuitive,
Hmm.
when that information comes through, is it the energy of, let's say, somebody has passed over and the energy never goes away? It's always around us.
Um, the way it comes to me as either a feeling or a symbol, or I hear something, or I get a confirmation from somewhere, or it comes through in a message in a card.
What has blown you away, even in recent times, be it a message that came through or something that came through during a card reading and it was validated by the other person? Anything stand out in your mind?
Well, one of them was a reading that I got from a lady who it kept coming up through a card, and I didn't know this. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I got a symbol of a mailbox, and I was like, what does that mean? I was like, oh, it's a message. A message is coming to you. And it had a picture of something, I can't remember what it was, but it pointed out to a delivery of something. I was like, you're wanting a baby. You want to have a baby. And she's like, how did you know that?
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't know. It just came to me in that card, that message. And I thought, and this was when I was new at it.
Wow.
And I was like I still had that imposter syndrome where I wasn't sure if I was really gifted.
Interesting.
And she was like, how did you know that I wanted a baby? You know?
That's so cool. Where did it begin for you? Like we had your history, nurse practitioner.
Mhm.
How did we cross over, so to speak, onto the spiritual side where you help people?
Well, it started when I was a kid, actually, because I've always known things, but I didn't really know that I knew things. But when I was a teenager, I would get like phone calls before caller ID, and my friends would call me, and I could tell the tone of the phone was different for certain friends.
Hmm.
And I'd pick it up and I'd be like, "Hey, Andy," and he's like, "Oh, stop! How do you do that?"
Isn't it, you know
And then I'd be
what?
like, "Hey, Christina," and she's like, "Oh my God, don't do that!"
It's not caller ID, it's carry ID.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then I would just freak them out with certain things. I'd be like, I know this is going to happen. I don't know how I know this, but I just know this is going to happen. Be careful, or something like that.
How did that make you feel knowing that that person is calling and it was them, or knowing something about them and they confirmed it?
It was interesting. I still felt like, how do I know that? I just don't understand where that comes from. And at the time, I didn't believe in God because I was forced to go to church, a religion. And I didn't want to believe in God. I didn't want to believe in source. I didn't want to believe in all that. I was like, this doesn't exist. And so I was born in a church, um, which was called Southern Baptist. It was very, very harsh, very hard. But when I was in my 30s, I converted to Christianity, and I was very Christian. And then with having such severe depression, I had suicidal depression. I was like, if I was really a believer, God would heal me. I was like, why do I have all this depression? I don't understand. I pray, I go to church, I do all these things. Why do I want to kill myself? I don't understand. Why would he not heal me? I would get so angry. But it was a path I was on. And finally, when I just started doing energy healing and started following the path that I was supposed to be on, he healed me. And then I thought, that's why I'm here to help other people figure out their purpose.
Do you think it was to use the cliche, Jesus take the wheel? Do you think he was trying to take the wheel and steer it in another direction?
Yeah, definitely. He's like,
Mm.
stop being so stubborn, Carrie. You have a path and you're going to follow that path. Everybody has a path.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm a firm believer in we're on a journey. There's a path you should be following. Unfortunately, or fortunately, sometimes things happen where your car turns a little bit,
Yeah,
but
we have free
eventually,
will.
yeah, I think they call that life, but eventually you get to where you should be if you do the right thing. You know,
Right.
if you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing and is not in alignment with the universe, you know, the car is going to crash.
Yeah, like I worked in a prison with all male lifers. They were in there for life, and it was a maximum security prison. And they adored me because I did not judge them. I wasn't there to judge them. I was there to take care of them, you
I
know.
could not see how they would not adore you.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're very pretty, and just your energy is just, you know, I could be blind and I would feel it, you know, coming off you. You know, it's
Thank you, thank
positive.
you.
No, it really is. When you work with people, how does it work? Let's say they don't know what they need or want. Can you steer them in the right direction when they reach out to
Hmm.
you?
Yeah, usually what happens is when they call me or we're doing our Zoom, I'll introduce myself if I haven't met them, person to person, and I'll say, "Hi, I'm Carrie, the Divine Angel Oracle. It's nice to meet you." And I ask them a few questions about themselves. And then I'll say, "This is how it's going to go." I'll say, first, I usually have my diffuser going with some crystals in there and some holy water. And I'll tell them about that. And then I'll say, "I have chosen some decks for you, and they're specifically for you that I've psychically or intuitively chosen for you." And they always end up being perfect for them. So neat. And then I'll say, "We're going to do a little meditation to kind of get us in the mood for the reading, and also to protect us from anything that could be trying to attack us during the meet and during the session."
Mhm.
And it's a neat little meditation that I do because I put a protective bubble around us, and I protect us, with God and holiness and angels and whatever I decide that's going to be with us that day. But generally, it's God. I work with God, and then I tell them that I'm going to use a few tarot decks, I'm going to use a few oracle decks, and then we go from there. And then if they ask me questions, they're allowed to ask me any questions, and I'm completely honest.
Hmm. I have so many questions. So, all right. Do you feel that all of us are psychic or intuitive?
Yes.
I do too.
Hmm.
And last night something happened that um kind of even proved that to me. Long story short,
Hmm.
my daughter to a medical appointment. I had met somebody a year ago, like
Hmm.
literally within a few days, a year ago. Saw them once and never saw them again. And that was all good. It was just a chance
Hmm.
meeting. And I know that they practice medically the same type of doctor that I was looking for my daughter.
Hmm.
And I said to myself, I'll bet I'm going to run into her. I bet I am going to run into her there. And I'm in the lobby, daughter's in an appointment, talking on the phone. She comes walking out and is about to exit the building. And I'm like,
You knew it.
I, I knew it. And there was no reason for me to connect her to that place. In fact, she never told me she worked there. In fact, she said, "Oh, yeah, I just started working here, you know, 1, 2 days a week, along with all my other responsibilities." And I'm like, but here's why I'm even bringing this up. I think the universe put her there so that I can better help my daughter because she
Hmm.
would be the one to help her with some services and things like that. And because I don't believe things happen.
For chance.
No, there's not. Come on. It was like at that exact moment, I
Divine meeting. Divine appointment.
had to be. There's no
Hmm.
other explanation for that. And I text her today, "Hey, great seeing you. Would love to talk to you about my daughter." It's like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm busy, but I'm going to reach back to you and then we'll talk." And I think she is going to, you know, be the game changer in terms of finding the right people that I need to find.
Hmm.
Um, that happened. The universe put her there. It
She's
is,
like a catapult to
yeah,
help you. Hmm.
yeah.
Or catalyst.
But talk about, but also catapult. Catapult.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That just came out of nowhere. I don't know.
but both terms are right. Both terms are right
Uh-huh.
here. I believe, and even call it the psychic thing. I just said to myself, or maybe I put it into the universe that I wanted her to be there, and then
You
she
you
was
can
there.
do that. You can totally manifest things to happen in your life if you put your mind to it.
I think we all need to get better at that because I try to, but you know what it is? A lot of times we want the instant results. We put it out there, and it's like, all right, well, all right. I've been thinking positive, changing the language in my mind. Where is it?
You
What?
have to continue.
Yeah.
You can't stop. It's called persistence.
Do you have any recommendations for that in terms of how you put it into your mind? How do you put it out into the universe?
You have to catch yourself being negative and reverse that thought when you catch it. Because I catch myself being, I'm like, oh, no, no, can't do that. Because I'll give you an example. If you go to my Instagram, which again is Starry Sky Connections, is my Instagram handle. I just did a post on a reel saying I did it. I overcame suicidal depression. As soon as I did that, guess what popped in my head?
What?
Go kill yourself. Go take all those pills. You're not through. Guess what that was? That was demons, devils, Satan, whatever, saying, no, no, you're not done. I said, oh, yes, I am. I caught that thought and I said, that's not coming from me. That's coming from all the devils, all the demons, all the whatever's out there trying to hurt me from continuing my path. And you have to catch those negative thoughts, those toxic whatever it is out there that's trying to prevent you from manifesting the best life for you.
100%, because it doesn't serve you. Same thing as if you're, and I try to do what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But you could be driving down the road, somebody makes a turn right in front of you, doesn't even put
You're
a
like,
yeah, you're like, motherfucker.
exactly.
But then I reset and I'm like, hold on. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe something happened. Maybe they were focused
They're in a hurry.
they're in a hurry for a reason.
Exactly.
And it's like, all right, let it go. Because to have that negativity of over a stranger, what's it going to do for you?
I mean, I call myself mad at somebody for pulling in front of me. I'm like, okay, gotta calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're not perfect as humans. We're not.
But you're allowing them to do that to you, just like call it the demons or whatever. That when you put that post out there, if you allowed it, you would have. But you
Right. I could have easily went upstairs, took a whole bunch of pills and tried to chill out or whatever I do, take a bunch of alcohol, drink it, whatever people do to cope,
yeah,
you
yeah. But
take drugs, whatever. I'm done with that.
yeah,
I don't do that anymore. I used to, honestly, but I don't do that anymore. I haven't done it for years,
doesn't serve you.
since I was 47.
Doesn't serve other people either, because you can
Mhm.
help other people that may be going through that. And even then, you weren't alone. It's so prevalent now. Let's
Mhm.
get let's not ignore the elephants in the room. The suicide rate is
Mhm.
up,
Especially with COVID right now.
especially with COVID right now.
My
Yeah,
daughter was in treatment during COVID for suicidal depression because it's genetic also.
yeah.
So I'm here to help her as well, not just the collective, but to help my daughter.
And Carrie, I appreciate you talking about that and being open about it, because it can only help others,
Right.
and it's you put the block up in your brain,
Mhm.
you can people care about you.
Yeah, you have to change your mindset. I mean, a lot of it is genetic too, and you might need to go, I mean, you might have to go get professional help, of course, because I still had professional help. I
Sure.
still even take medication for it because I was on it since my 20s. I can't just come off of it like that. I
Yep.
want to, but you have to get support. You have to do so many different things in order to help with depression. You can't just do one thing and say, I'm done with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of different avenues of support, and you have to make sure you get those avenues in order to treat it.
And
Because
it's
it's not just a figment of your imagination.
yeah. And like you said, you have to go through all those steps. It's a process and takes time, as does the mindset of positivity and change.
Hmm.
When you have a negative thought, whether it's something serious or that person cutting you off in the car, it's it takes time. You can
Yeah, you can't just do it overnight. It's practice.
yeah. And
Just like my positive mind took me years to change from negative to positive.
yep, it has to become a habit, a positive habit.
Hmm. And
All
you
right.
can bring in money with your mindset. You can bring in abundance and money and prosperity and all that just with your mindset.
1 billion%. And I have a
Hmm.
friend who is wonderful. I call her my soul sister. And she's forever saying, I can't make, I'm at 4 jobs now, single mom. And I'm like, focus on making that money and that abundance, and it will follow. Don't focus on, "Well, I don't have any money." It'll happen. Don't worry about it. It will. Yes, we have to support ourselves and make sure our families are okay, but just keep that positive mindset. And she's
Mhm.
starting to. The wheels are starting to turn a little bit. But again, like we said,
I mean, it can cause miracles in your life.
hmm, I don't think that word's used enough.
I mean, every day is a miracle if you allow it.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I had something happen today that I was like, what? I admitted to, I'll just tell you real quick, because I know we don't have much time. I admitted to having a bad habit of consumerism, like buying a lot of things, as you can tell with all my tarot decks. They're behind me.
Mhm.
And I admitted to my sister, which I was adopted and I just found her recently. I
Oh,
have a
wow.
half sister. And I just found her recently. I said, I have a bad habit of buying too many things and I've got to stop. And I admitted it to the universe. As soon as I admitted it to the universe, I just made a bonus of $500 and it was put in my bank account. And
And
I said, see, if you admit to the universe or to God or whoever you believe in that you have a problem or you're willing to accept something, sorry, my nose is running, you get abundance. I mean, that was like a miracle happening in my life right then.
I totally believe it.
Hmm.
And we don't do it. We don't put it out into the universe. And some of us think it's foo. Well, but what do you got to lose?
Right. Why not believe?
Why not believe? And if you're not religious, call it spiritual.
Spiritual.
If you don't believe in a God, believe in the universe. And it's
Believe in a higher power, higher self, whatever.
whatever that is. It's whatever you want it to be, whatever
Hmm.
you're comfortable with. It's so funny. I had this debate with, and that it's not that I don't believe in God,
Yeah.
but I believe in universe, and
Uh-huh.
universe supports us. And my soul sister friend is very connected to God. And she says, "Well, who do you think created the universe?" So I guess,
Yeah.
we're into a debate, but a fun one, a fun one.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple of minutes left. Would you like
Okay.
would you like to whip out the deck there and pull a couple
I
of
just pulled a card and it said inspire.
interesting?
And it was hair mousse, which
Well, we have to tell everybody this is your own
this is
custom.
my own deck called Glamour Guidance. It's gold gilded. And I have a booklet that comes with it. It comes in this deck also, or this hard deck.
Right?
Shell, whatever. And it has a little booklet that comes with it. So what you do is you pull a card from this deck every day, would give you a good message. So I pulled Inspire for us, which is a good actual message for us today about inspire, because we want to inspire us and each other. So number 26, we go in the book and we look at number 26 and it says hair mousse. Look for inspiration in your, I need my glasses. Look for inspiration in your surroundings and opportunities to inspire and uplift others. When we elevate each other, everyone wins.
Now, it's interesting what we're talking about today, and I'm going to believe that you just randomly pulled a card out there.
Mhm.
But what we're doing somehow, our direction
Links.
here went to inspiration.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's how it works. That's how God universe works. He gives you messages that you need to hear or that were linked to what we were talking about. He just shows up like that.
Wow. That's super cool stuff.
I
It's
know.
I love your deck, by the way. Very bougie.
Thank you. I know it's very glamorous and fun and very whimsical and different than a lot of decks out there.
Well, thank you for saying that word because uh sometimes tarot
Hmm.
cards can be very dark.
I
And
know.
and that's why it's like you lighten it up a little bit, but the message is still there.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
super
And
cool.
oracle decks can be any size, any, number 1 through 100, 110, whatever. Tarot is always 78 cards. Always.
This is above my pay grade. This is the stuff I don't know. Professionals like you. If somebody wants to connect with you, Carrie, and experience the Divine Angel Oracle, right? And whatever it
Hmm.
might be it, either some coaching, energy
Hmm.
healing.
I have classes too.
You do what? I'm sorry.
I have classes.
Okay. Or take a class. I'm sure it's all on the website. Do they just go
Uh-huh.
to starryskyconnections.com and reach out to
Hmm.
you?
Yep. And I also have an Etsy store called Starry Sky Connections.
It's so funny whenever I hear, and this is gonna, my age is gonna
Of
come
course,
out.
Vanessa's
Every
running.
time I hear Starry, I think of a song that came out in the 70s, Starry, Starry Night. I don't know.
Oh,
If
I was born in the 70s.
yeah, Don McLean, and it's about Vincent Van Gogh. But
Yeah.
every time I hear that, it's a great song. Starry, by the way, spelled with 2 R's, starryskyconnections.com. I
Yes.
think, yeah, we're out of time, but it has been
And that's my Instagram handle too.
Is it really? Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. It has been refreshing and fun talking with you. It really has been.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too.
I'm just going to ask you one final question. And before we got on here, you thought you were going to get a different host today.
Yes.
And you didn't even know who that host was. So you got stuck with me. Did I pass the grade?
You totally passed it. A positive plus.
All right. Thank goodness. And
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And I look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.